But when you're in Yerushalayim and you're already coming to the, you're already coming there, and you see places that might not be built, or that's still, remnants of the past, you would have to rip Kriya for Yerushalayim. And then the third place is when you hit the Mikdash. Most people try to get them both at once. They try not to look until they reach the Kaisel, and then they make one Kriya for both. But the halacha is like this. The halacha is that who rips? Most people living in Yerushalayim at least don't necessarily rip because they're there. It's like my brother-in-law just came in from Eretz Yisrael, and he went to see Niagara Falls. So he made a bracha, it's a nice gracious. Us Canadians, we see Niagara Falls all the time. So even though the halacha is really every 30 days, if you don't see it within 30 days, you can make another bracha. Make another bracha, and anything like that, it's considered, refreshed. You didn't see it for 30 days, you can make a bracha again. So that's the halacha by Kriya also. If you didn't see the Makam Mikdash for 30 days, you missed Kriya. But those that are living there, right there, so it's not a chiddush. It's not a chiddush. They're there, they're used to it. It's not such a chiddush. So you don't have the same feelings. So you don't necessarily make a bracha. So we go there. We don't necessarily feel the need to make a bracha at Niagara Falls because we go often. It's not. But.
What's often though? I go every 3 years.
So why do you only go every 3 years?
The kids make you.
You go only 3 years because that's not such a chiddush to you anymore.
Yeah.
If it would be a chiddush, you'd go more often.
Depends how old the grandchildren.
Every time you cross the border, you should make a stopover to see it. The flies are by it. You saw it already. You saw it already. Our minds are so. I remember I was living in Brisk, and Reb David's Salvation son, Usher. It's a very interesting old. He was young, now he's very older. But he was saying that that they were describing to him the skyscrapers in the Manhattan. It was blowing. He couldn't believe it. Wow! So, they never saw such thing in their lives. For people that came from the shtetl, they never saw the world. You see something, it makes immersion. Today, you don't have to leave your house to see the world. You see the wonders of the world all over, and and things they make up, you see all over. You see everything. You see. So we're not so. We're a little. What?
Jaded.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know, people come from immigrants, going to a Canadian Tire store or a Sobeys, the abundance of the aisles.
It blows their mind.
They can't believe.
Blows their mind. Yeah.
When I was a young boy, they used to allow from Russia, let's say, the father could come, the mother would have to stay, or and the whole family couldn't come over. And they'd go into a supermarket. They thought this was a show. They already told them this was going to be remember? This was propaganda. We're just...
This is where they bring the tourists.
This
isn't real. You can't buy anything for real.
Yeah. It's not shady. Let's say a Canadian wants to go to a beach somewhere. I was like, make a bracha. I grew up in Farakaway, it's a 5-minute walk from the Atlantic Ocean. Water, okay, you see it every day. Not every day, but So, a lot of this is totally in the Hagashim. And the same thing is with Hagoya, Yerushalayim, B'Choban, it's totally in the Hagashim. Person goes to Kodesh Day, he's supposed to have a hergish, a tsar. You see that the Mikdash B'Choban is supposed to have a tsar. But if you're there every day, you don't feel the same. You should feel it, but you don't feel the same tsar. You don't feel it the same. So therefore, most people don't make brachas over there. But I went to Sham. I got there Friday afternoon and went straight to the Kaisel. I didn't rip. But then I came back. I wanted to rip, and now Shabbos I was there. I wasn't there for too long, so I made a special trip there just to. To a nice Kriya, but it was there was something going on. It was hard to get in and get out. He says here, the Mishnah Berurah says, just to show you how far this goes. Mishnah Berurah says, "Haray Yerushalayim Yesha Kosvu Shemistavra." It's Mistavra. This is in the name of the Kafta V'Ferach. We're going to mention the Kafta V'Ferach later. Kafta V'Ferach was a Rishon that was the first one to write about Yerushalayim, the dimensions and everything that's there. What?
Was it Menorah?
Menorah?
Was it the Menorah? Kafta Ferach?
Kafta B'Ferach. The Russian comes from Menorah. There's a Sefer Kafta B'Ferach, which they have it here. Kafta B'Ferach's Mauritian. Shlomo Afrechi. And he wrote about, he traveled to Yerushalayim back then when it wasn't really built at all. He wrote a lot about it. So he writes there, that's Mistavra, that the first day a person sees Yerushalayim b'Chabana, you shouldn't drink meat and wine, you shouldn't eat meat and drink wine that day. So it's like the 9 days. You walk in, if you haven't seen, 20 years, you haven't seen Yerushalayim, come, see Yerushalayim. Yeah. The person should, the feeling you should have is that there's a churban, there's a mosque on there, and that thing. This is you shouldn't drink meat wine. He brings down there. But you go a little more. It's not the first time, the second, third time. So you just with kriya, But the feeling, the main chaylik of the kriya is the feeling. So you have to say the whole thing, and you're supposed to have that feeling. But the question is really, the Bach's lashon is, just read it for you. The Bach's lashon is shchayv l'shtachos u'lekrayes begadav livchos is cry l'soinin l'sabel ala churban. Sabel, rip. So rip. Okay, I did my ripping. I take pictures. I'm going to take pictures. He's ripped his clothing. It's supposed to be sabel ala churban. So sabel l'koinin and say mizmor l'asaf atzoif. And say baruch da'inemes without shir malchus, the whole thing. It should be misabel. That's what he's supposed to be doing. But the real question is, when you rip, you're not really seeing anything. You're just seeing the kaisel. The kaisel is the wall of the Harabayis. Today it was all shining in what the kaisel was, which wall it is actually. But today it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear that it's the kaisel of the Harabayis. At least one of the kaisels of the Harabayis, the outside kaisel, but there's a kaisel of the Harabayis. And you're not seeing anything by seeing the kaisel. Here's the Harabayis, right? Imagine here's the Harabayis. You're standing down here, you see a wall, you can't see the Makam HaMikdash. The proper way to make kriya is to be able to see the Makam HaMikdash on top. If you're higher up, if you go on a rooftop, on Eshator over there, or you go somewhere else, and you can see the Makam HaMikdash, that's the best place to actually make kriya. So some say, the Bach says, if you see the dome on top, even if you can't see it, you're high enough, you can see the dome, but you can't see the thing, that's enough, because seeing that's on the Makam HaMikdash, and that's enough to make to rip kriya. But the shaila about seeing the kaisel, the Olam's like to see the kaisel, they would clear, but some of the didactic, that's not really the didactic from the Bach. The Bach said, well, if you see the dome is enough, so maybe if you see the wall, which is sort of blocking the Makam HaMikdash, is also enough. That's a shaila. Now, there's another halacha over here, which lately has become a source of debate for some reason. But there's a halacha over here that you're not allowed to go into the Makam HaMikdash. You're not allowed to go there. It's a halacha here. He says here, "V'nichnas ato l'Makam HaMikdash chayv koris. Sheklonu t'mei mesim, v'kedusha rishon, v'kedusha l'shaytz, v'kedusha l'asalav, v'ayim kuti halachas v'achim." It's one of the rare places where the Chafetz Chaim quotes himself. The Bishop Brewer brings down Kuti Halachas as a sefer of the Chafetz Chaim. It's like a riff, a small riff, with halacha in the back of mainly the Gemaras that are on Kachim, and other Gemaras we don't have there. So it's Kuti Halachas and Zvachim, where he goes through the whole sugya. If you pass like the Rambam and the Ravid, it's Machlokes Rambam and the Ravid. If we say the Makam HaMikdash is Kitchel L'Shaisa, Kitchel L'Asalavai, and the Paiskim all Paskim across the board like the Rambam, which holds that the Makam HaMikdash is Kitchel L'Asalavai, and therefore it has the same status of Kedusha that it had when the Beis HaMikdash was standing, and therefore Kedusha would try to Kitchel L'Shaitz and Kitchel L'Asalavai. So what's the debate? I mean, that's not really debatable. I mean, those that want to say, well, you could ask like the Ravid, it's a little difficult. So what does the debate stand on? The debate stands on a couple of factors. There's the halacha. The halacha is that there are different places in the Beis HaMikdash where different types of tumas are allowed to go into. Okay? So a tummy mace can't go to the Makam HaMikdash itself, which is really the Heichal and the Kachikachim in that area. Or the Makam, maybe from the Mizbeach, Lufnim, the tummy mace. Now a tummy mace, technically, Mikra Halacha, could go on the Arabayis. Could go on the Arabayis. But there's he has here. If you want to go through the tshuvas, Tzitz Eliezer has a tshuva on this. Yitzchak, B'Yoyim has a little tshuva. Navad Yosef has a little tshuva on it. But Dushas HaMikdash. Goes to them with the Ravid. There is. Yeah. They all bring down, it was down the Lashon over here, they all bring down from the Sefer of the Kafta B'Ferach, goes down from the Sefer of the Kafta B'Ferach, who expanded this. Yeah. You can even bring a mace itself into the Harabayis. The mace itself into the Harabayis. So if you could know exactly, if you could figure out exactly where the what the you know where the
an overlay.
yeah, for it, footprint of the Beis HaMikdash would be, and then you're only going in Harabayis. So okay, so a Tamei Mace, we'll get to the other tumas in a minute, but Tamei Mace would be able to go there. So that would be okay, l'chayra. So the Gemara says, be'emes before she'isr l'chayanis b'chol harabayis. The sefer kafta b'ferach. That's that sefer. She'ev ma'di isa mai chadasha. The Gemara says shechidshu b'dvarim v'amar tvul yom ayichanis l'machnu laviyah. So the Chazal, even though Midaraisa it's only the Machna Shechina you can't go into, but they asked even the Machna Laviyah. So the question is, what's called the Machna Laviyah? So he says, "You can only carve me Pesach Harabayis Ulufnim. Kim Shomo Halav Machna Laviyah." He says, "So Mkein Hayoim Shanachnu B'Chatein B'Chutz. You could go in and tefillah at Oisam HaKaisalam till the walls. This is before it was written before it was buried and then uncovered. The Kaisal was still there." But it says Chayin Amadavar, but we already have Avtocham Shoima Melech that we could stand there and our tefillah would be miskabel. We don't have to go on the Harabayis. So that's what he says here. So the problem is the Gemara, the Rishonim will say the Chatzor Chadasha that they asked it was only the Ezra Snashim, not the Harabayis. He's saying that Kaftan Ferach is saying the whole Harabayis is Asr. The Rishonim learned clearly that it just means the Ezras Nashim they asked it. So you have the Beis HaMikdash with the Ezras Nashim, but the Harabayis was quite large. We'll see soon. It was not included. So he says, it's hard to be careful on this, so we'll see soon exactly where the borders are. But see, so we see for other problems we'll have in a moment. Okay, Nogu Isser. Therefore, we're noyig isur. So even though technically that we don't necessarily hold like this kafta v'ferach, but here's a rishon that says that nobody goes past that. Even in his time, nobody went past the kaisel. Nobody went past the kaisel. He held it was an isur, and even though he brings a Truas Ramah, says Zeh Loshin Hizar, but you have to be careful with the Gabal kafta v'ferach. Sha'adam gadolhu. So the Chuvas Ramah writing about the Kamsvech says, "Mikol Makom," this is the words, "Kol Makom Kol Dvar Gabi Bias Mikdash Hein Be'emes Kafta V'Ferach." So in other words, Mitzad Etzem Halacha. Oh, the Kamsvech didn't bring the Kaisel Marah because it was still covered. He brought the other walls on the other sides. It was still covered on that side. So that's one issue. The second issue going on there, besides the Kafta V'Ferach that says you shouldn't go up, the second reason, even if you would be able to figure out exactly, this is basically you'd be able to figure out exactly where the Makam HaMikdash was.
Which there are people who claim they could.
A lot of people will claim.
They say that nowadays it's not an issue. I mean, it's everyone knows or has the ability to I mean, it's a lot of stuff's been published, and they say, I've heard this.
Okay, so let me tell you what the Poskim say.
Yeah,
I can't tell you what everybody else says. I can just say what the Chuvas say. Poskim say like this: the first one to say that we could figure out exactly where it is the Chuvas Radvaz, and he writes the rock where it is. That rock is for sure the Makam where the Aron HaKodesh was. So once you have that measurement, you can measure out. Now, bear in mind that there's a whole machlokes from how large an Amma is. But even if you take the biggest amount, you can measure out from there and sort of figure it out. And he says, the Radvaz says, the Chuvas Radvaz is a Adam Gol Moed. The Radvaz says it's a Makam, it's a Dava Bar. Today, even though there was a Shilas, Dava Bar, that's the Makam. I saw it, B'Yayma from Ravad Yosef, no less, that he says it's very not Muskim. It's very not Muskim. And just to give a few examples, it's very not Muskim. It says it's a whole Shilah. If you learn the Mishnayis Pashat, how far the Makam HaMikdash was from the Koisei Harabayis. And the Tais Yom Tov says it was Kemeya, it was Meya Amma. And he says, even Tais Yom Tov himself says that that's not 100% clear. Meya Amma. And then there's, maybe it was some that say it was 63 Ammas. And then there's some that say they expanded the Makam Harabayis to a point where I heard this, they expanded it to a point where you don't have it clear. Now, there are some that are going to say that they have aerial views where they have binyanim, where they can actually mark it off. You have to know, you have to check those things. You know, it's hard to bring a raya. There are others that say, he brings down there, that like all archaeology, things move over time. Matter of fact, you bury, just to give an example, if you bury a mace in the ground, in certain places, you won't find him because he may be moved over 10 feet. That's how it happens. Things shift. Especially over 2,000 years, things shift. So there's, that's why there are some people, believe it or not, there are some people that won't walk up to the Kaisel. They won't walk up to the Kaisel. I know the David Salvation, when he comes to the Kaisel, he stands in the back, doesn't come near it. And the reason why they don't go near it is because a few reasons. First of all, it was a question exactly when they discovered the Kaisel, was a question exactly which wall it is. Today it's quite clear it's the wall of Harabayis. It's quite clear. But it was a question which wall it actually is. But even if you say it's the wall of Harabayis, but there's a shifting process. There's a shifting process that goes on. And then there's another question, you know, as you go lower, it goes out a little bit, but that's probably, you know, like a couple of feet. You know, as you go down, it's bigger on the back and it's smaller on top. So that already the place can deal with. It could be that's like shells, that's like outside or like inside. But there are those that stay back based on this. But the minig is like all the place can say, the minig was always to go up to the Kaisel. But to go on, so you have, I can't tell you what people say, but you have Tzitz Eliezer, didn't live too long ago, Mechas Yitzchak, and you have the Vad Yosef, I don't know, besides Yashu, and the others, I don't know exactly who would say, who says it could go, but from these people, they say that's a real issue. Now you have another issue. Even if you're going to say that, you know, today we know exactly where the Makam is, and we could l'chumma take the Amma and work it out that you're not standing on the Makam HaMikdash at all. You're only standing on the Harabayis. There's another two real serious issues. One issue, which is a real serious issue, is the Rambam says you're not allowed to go on the Harabayis. Even if you're 100% Torah, you're not allowed to go on the Harabayis. You're only allowed to go on the Har Bayis l'tzorech mitzvah. You can't just go on. It's a kalas rosh. It's a kalas rosh. The halach is a mashal. Even on a lower madrig, but the halach is you're not allowed to walk into a base. You can't walk into a shul. You just walk into a shul. You can only walk into a shul if you're planning on learning there or davening there. You can't walk into a shul
As a tourist.
as a tourist. Not allowed to. And Emma says there was a takana in certain places that they don't make weddings in the shul. We spoke about this once because of Chukas Akka. Right, other places, no, they used to make weddings in shuls. Old minute to make weddings in shul, right? But one of the reasons they don't make weddings in shuls is because, if you're just going to make a wedding, the old time weddings, you can do it in the shuls. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah. Bring chasen kala g'valdig gazach. But the amount of kalas rosh that goes on by a chuppah, the total chuppah gets started, and the way people dress and everything, it's partial, not nice. It's not nice for the shul. The shul is a makom kaddish. Now you can tell me the shul's in Chutz La'aretz al Tanai heimoimdim were made al Tanai. Okay, so the shelf that works for this, but a makom hamikdash, if it still has a kedusha rishonim, kedusha l'shayis kedusha l'salavai, even if there's no isser mitzad karis, you're not going to get karis from going up there. A lot of debate is they bring down that Moses Mansfor, Dr. Levy brought him up on the Har Bayis, and the grandson of Nesivus, Moshe Yosef, Lisa, blew the shofar and put him in chayrim for going up there. So he came down and he spoke to all the Rabbanim Yeshayim. He said he didn't know anything. What do you know? He didn't know. He was crying to them. So I told him not to worry about the chayrim. Not to worry about the chayrim. They wouldn't find him. So that sparked the debate today. So does that mean really he could go on, really can't go on? Some say he went up in a box. By the way, the Yosef writes in the Tshuva, and so does Minchas Yitzchak, that the Makom HaMikdash itself, Torah Mason can't go on. That's klar. So and halacha is it goes up to Shemayim if you're over the Makom HaMikdash. So you can't even go on a helicopter over the Makom HaMikdash. You're not allowed to go on.
I was told, many years ago, you can't go within, I forgot, 10, 15 feet of it, or even put a note on the wall because it's eroded.
Talking about the Kaisel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
you'll
get
be
to the
inside.
Kaisel. Yeah, we'll get to the Kaisel in a moment. We'll get to the Kaisel. But the Makom HaMikdash itself, you're over it. So there's a whole question of oil zarek, right? If you're in a box, and your oil zarek, shmei oil, lo shmei oil, if that's considered, you're in there, not in there. Obviously, if it's sakaras nefashos, that's a different story. But I'm talking about just time to go over. It's time to go over if you're driving a plane and or a small helicopter and you want to get good pictures. You have to avoid. It's a knisa l'mikdash. You're not allowed to go in there. It's nice to clear. Oh, so there's a problem anyways. Anyways, the whole thing to go up, if a guy's going up to learn maybe and to understand where the makom is and the place, maybe you can find they had to lulay the problem of tumah. He's going there taka lulmaid, but Talmud Torah is going up. It's person's not allowed to go. Says a person's not allowed to go on Har Bayis with his wallet. With a stick in his wallet, he's not allowed to go on Har Bayis. Can't walk in. You can't go to shul with a stick in the wallet. People go to the wallet to the shul, but people to take out your. I was once learning, and someone came for something, so I pulled out my wallet, opened it up. I was learning in the Koil down south, and Baron Miller, the middle son, came over to me and says, "It says straight in the basic classes, you're not supposed to go with your wallet." So. You do business, and sure, it's something which sometimes we forget that we're in a shul, to do business. Forget about talking about business films. So straight to Rambam says also Hilchas Moira Mikdash. The person has to go and on that makom. You have to have Moira Mikdash. Okay, so the Kaisel, you're outside the Har Bayis. Still, it became a makom where everybody davens. Still, a person has to be careful in the Kaisel, also. But on the Har Bayis, there's no question. There's a person shouldn't do it. But then you have another problem. And this is a real issue. that the only tumah that's mutter is tumas meis. That's outside the Machal Aviyah, wherever that ends. Tumas meis is allowed to go in, but the Machal Yisrael, but tumas hayotzim megufay, which basically is three things which are relevant for a person: a woman that's a nid or a zava, or a man that's a keri, balkeri, or a zav. Now, balkeri, neither zava, if she's, Shomer Torah mitzvah, she'll go to the mikveh, and if she goes to the mikveh, hopefully she's okay, she's not tummy anymore, so you don't have that problem. A man who's a balkeri he could go to the mikveh also. He could go to the mikveh. He has to wait till the next morning, but you go to the mikveh. But he has to wait till night. But someone who's a zav, it doesn't be chatzis, but he needs to wait Zayin Yomim, and he has to do a Sfira. We don't basically do that today. So a guy that's a zav, most people don't even know if they're zav. What's a zav? Who knows what a zav is today? So a zav for ish, right? So if it's it's more of a chayli, a zav. But who knows? And even a balkari that went to the mikveh, we're machmer. Magen Avraham says that's why kahanim today don't eat truma. Why don't kahanim eat truma? One shayla is a kohen, but we have a chazaka for a lot of different things. We have a chazaka of a kohen, different things. We're samech on that. But one of the reasons Magen Avraham says is because it's hard to if a person uses the Beis Hakisei after the keri, so he might have gone to the mikveh. And then, if he uses Beis Hakisei, sometimes more keri could come out that's mixed in, and it should be tummy again. So we're machmir all kinds of chumras, even for eating truma. For a guy that's about keri, so it's kosher mo'oidli zar bazeh. It's very hard to be careful on this. Befrat, a lot of people going up are not really 100% Shomer Torah mitzvahs. So you could have real issues. A woman, and you could have that a poshet. You can't go anywhere on the Har Bayis if a person's a tumah yaitzi megufay. That's a chomer. So that's another issue going up. B'chlal. So even if a person could technically say, "Well, I was toivel and I'm not a carrier and I waited and I'm for sure don't have the problem," but who's going to be payed together? That all the Rishonim and those that came after all the years were careful not to do that. Obviously, we're not talking about where there's a tzarich gadol to go in. We're talking about stop to go in. Stop to walk up and go in. So that's something which I think there recently was a whole story over there. Shot. It's a reminder, right? So we got shot, the Jews. But it's a reminder that we still don't have control. We still don't have control of all the places. So it's the reason why we don't have control is because that's what the Rosh wants until the Zman Mashiach comes. He allowed us a certain amount. He allowed us a certain amount that we could come to the Kaisel, we could daven. It's a good thing. But even the Kaisel, we only have a portion of it. The rest is. Imagine all these. If you want to feel the churban, just think of all the Arab houses that are bordering on the Kaisel. Who knows what they're doing in the houses there? That's enough that a person should be able to rise kriya. So they cleared off a little area, but the rest is a huge amount. The rest. Anyway, so that's the ha'ara for this. That's the ha'ara for this. We'll ma'arich on this. Biggest shuvas and shuvas. It's not a new subject. It's an old subject that was brings down the story there. The writes of Shmuel Salant wrote a letter to Moses Montefiore at the time. So he didn't know, but this was it's not a new subject. It's an old subject. The Poskim spoke about it, and at the end of the day, again, the Gadol Hagdiru, that a person shouldn't go up, and the reason for it. Okay, a little bit practical for us. We're not living there. We're not going up. We're living here. And we have an avodah of the next few days is to be Masabo al Yerushalayim. It's not an easy thing for people living in the, we never grew up with it. We don't know what the Beis Hamikdash is. We never had this. So it's, we call it Avelis Yishon. It's an old Avelis. It's an old Avelis. And old Avelis sometimes gets easy, we sort of get immune to it. So it's something that the Iker is, of course, what's inside. The outside is just a way of being Ma'ir. Ma'ir is apnimi. Ma'ir person's thing. So there are basically a few things that we do, a bunch of things that we do. We don't eat meat and drink wine unless there's a Sudas Mitzvah. We don't drink wine. And we don't wash clothing. We haven't taken haircuts anyways. And we don't and washing ourselves, l'tainug. So the aside you have to know is like this. Obviously there's going to be different, that's why it's hard to give halachas clearly on these things, especially on taking showers and all that. But the aside hadavar is, the point is like this, rechitza shal tainug is asur. Washing for pleasure is asur. It's 100% mutter for a guy to wash dirt off. And even if he's sweaty to a point where he feels dirty because he's sweating, so that's not rechitza shal tainug, that's rechitza to clean himself. That's mutter. Rechitza shal tainug is asur. The problem is it's very hard to define where the cutoff between tainug and dirt is. In the old days, where you didn't have a shower in your house, it's a new phenomenon. You had to go to the bathhouse outside the city many times. You went, if you were lucky, once a week for Shabbos. You went once a week for Shabbos. So you're sweaty, so you're sweaty. Everybody lived like that. They were sweaty, and if they're really sweaty, so they washed their hands and face. But it wasn't makubal that everyone took a shower every single night. It was something that wasn't done. So Mamela, it was nobody. You didn't take a shower during the 9 days. For Shabbos Chazayin, before Shabbos, so the coolest, you take it. Not so hot, it's cool. Whatever. Figure out a way to do it. Good thing. But today, where everybody got we call them an istinus. We call everybody today's an istinus, and the person can't handle being a little dirty. So that's where things get very iffy and shaky and complicated. But so Moshe already writes, if a person's sweated up and he feels dirty, so if you want to jump into a cool pool, you want to jump into the water because geshmak, that's takasa. A person has to wash himself just to clean themselves off, and then you go get out. You go in and get out, finished, clean themselves off. Or whatever's necessary to do the trick, you do. Whatever's not. So the place can give an eight, so you shouldn't have the water so hot. You should have it more lukewarmish. And you do a quick job. I was going to say you shouldn't use soap, but I think most people today wouldn't feel clean without the soap. So again, kol echad kafi what they need, they don't need, but definitely a person should cut down more. The ikar is the feeling and understanding that we're being masabel. A guy who's in Avelis. Guys in Avelis, I don't know, but a person sitting in Avelis doesn't take a shower every night when they're in Avelis, right? Somehow they manage. So there is okay, they're not running around either, they're just sitting in their room, not running around schwitzing, but there's definitely that nekuda, that chisa shel tainug is what's asa, and a person should separate themselves from that, not do that. The same thing is with washing clothing, is the same thing. Washing clothing is also, if a person's clothing is already schwitzed up and dirty and you can't wear it anymore, you're allowed to put on something else. Even an ovel, you mentioned Shabbos, even an ovel, if he's wearing his clothing and it's dirty, or it's so schwitzed up that he doesn't want to wear it anymore, he's allowed to switch. He's allowed to switch his clothing, the shirt, whatever. Even during the first 7 days of Avelis, Koshchein during the 9 days, one could do that. But if a person has another thing that's not washed, you should put that on. So what we do is we usually put different clothing on before, so we have what to wear during the 9 days. Shouldn't be freshly laundered clothing. But even if a guy doesn't have, he ran out of freshly laundered clothing. So the halacha says if he only has one shirt, so if he only has one shirt, he has to wear that one shirt. But l'maisa, the place can say that if it gets schwitzed up and dirty and you're ready mitzvah to wear it, so then you could switch to something else. But it's best if someone, you have the whole day today, could put something on, different shirts you need, and those shirts you'll have what to wear during the week.
How long do you have to keep the shirt on?
What?
How long do you have to keep the shirt on?
So that's a good shiloh. Usually a half hour should be enough. But the main point is that it doesn't feel fresh anymore when you wear it. When you wear it already, it doesn't feel like a freshly laundered shirt.
Or 3 at a time.
Yeah.
What?
Put on a few of them at a time.
That doesn't work.
You've
Doesn't
tried.
work.
Does that
The top one doesn't get thing.
Take a nap in it.
Good thought.
So it says here. What we have to remember also is the Iker Hilchas, the 9 days really is Iker Adin is Shvur Shachalbai, is the week of Tisha B'Av, which really this year is just Sunday. Sunday is the Shvur Shachalbai, Tisha B'Av, Sunday and Monday. Monday Tisha B'Av, Sunday, Monday. But Ramah says we're noyeg b'chol zeh from Rosh Chodesh. But nonetheless, it's still more kal than the week of Tisha B'Av itself. So the week of Tisha B'Av itself is more chamer. So different halachas said on the Geya. For example, if a guy has only one shirt, so if he only has one shirt, so the week of Tisha B'Av he has to wear only that one shirt. He can't wash it unless it's really bad. Like mom can't wear it. But the week before it could be more makel. That as long as once it's not so geshmak anymore, you could switch it. So there's different things. Washing, if a person wants to be more makel, because he feels not so geshmak, so maybe he's an istinus, so go take a shower. But Shvur Shachalboi, one should be more machmer, because that's already Ikar Adin. Shvur Shachalboi is the Ikar Adin, and the week before is Mitzad HaMinhag, with machmer already from Rosh Chodesh. Today we're very makel on certain things. For example, Shabbos Chazoin, right? So people take regular showers and wear regular clothing. Shabbos clothing, kachos a minute go over. But some places are annoyed that one clothing they don't wear. Some people wear not the Shabbos hat, they wear a weekday hat. Some people different ways of showing. So Shaila here, first halacha says like this. Afilu Shabbos Chazoin in machlif and luvish big day Shabbos. Ramah says even Shabbos Chazoin you don't wear big day Shabbos. Kiyim maksoinus lavad, only the ksoinus. But we're not knowing like that. He brings down here Mishabura. He doesn't bring down. But
So what do you wear? Your weekday clothes?
He says B'chalkos Vilna noigin al pi agrua to wear big day Shabbos. V'yesh b'shanon beged echad, and some change one clothes that they wear the old weekday. In other words, you're not supposed to wear big day Shabbos during the week of Tisha B'Av, even if it's not laundered. You wore last week, but you're not supposed to wear big day Shabbos. So the Ramah says even on Shabbos you shouldn't wear, except for one thing that they wore big day Shabbos. But in Vilna they didn't fakir. They always wore big day Shabbos, and some were mashana one beged. That's the minhag today. Everybody wears big day Shabbos and Shabbos Chazoin. But just to give you an understanding of the halacha here. Now, other things which are relevant is building, construction. That's an example for construction. Is also what's relevant today is also relevant today is gardening and things like that. So these things are usr, unless it's something which is necessary. You have a leak in the house, you have to fix it. But something which is stam so to look nice, it should be fancy. I want a nicer living room. So that avana, something which should not be done. That's called binyan shel simcha. Kol binyan she'ein tzarich lo l'dirasa. The need for your living, something you need for your living space. You can't live. You need it. That's mutter.
If you have a big loss.
Yeah, that's something else. If there's a hefset, but before that, if there's something which you don't need for your living, so that person shouldn't do. So, guy's renovating, he managed to live there until he renovated, that's okay. But if the guy, let's say, started his renovations, and now he can't live in there, he's living in the place, he's eating in the garage, he's eating meals in the garage because he can't eat in the house. So that's already could be, once it was started in such a situation, he can fix it up to a point where he's allowed to eat in there. So something which is, l'tzayrich dira, that's mutter. Something which is tzayrich harvacha, which is extra, we'll call, that's usr to do during the 9 days. Now, if the guy started already, it says, you hired a guy before Rosh Chodesh, so it says, then it's mutter afilu b'Tisha B'av atzmai. Meikra halacha, it's mutter even on Tisha B'av for the guy to do the work. Why? The nachri yadai to the nafshi of it. So, if you didn't make specifically the time to do on Tisha B'av, but you made it before, which usually happens, and then Tisha B'av that ends up coming out on Tisha B'av. We're talking about a guy. If you hire a yid, it's a bigger problem. If you hire a guy, so the halach is it's a kabbalah, so you hire him for the job. So sadaita de nafshe. So mikradin, it's mutter for him to do it during the 9 days, and even on Tisha B'av itself, he could do it. But he says over here that if you yachal a faisa b'davar mu'at sheyam tanach Tisha B'av, tavle bracha. So if you could push him off without having a loss, or even a davar mu'at, even if you have a small loss, tavle bracha. In other words, without a loss, for sure you have to push him off. Tell him, come back after Tisha B'av, he'll come back after Tisha B'av. But even if there's going to be a loss involved, you pay him a little bit to come back later, that's proper to do. If there's a big loss, that you don't have to do. If there's a big hefset, that you don't have to do that. And then you can come even on Tisha B'av and finish working.